Hey there, YouTubers. Neighbor Bob here. What it be like? Coming at you today from beautiful, sunny northern Missouri on 127.18. I'm going to go into 5 things today to avoid like the plague if you're suffering from benzodiazepine withdrawal. These things, if you avoid these 5 things I'm mentioning, you're going to feel so much better, so much faster. It'll be unbelievable. Trust me. How do I know this? I sustained a long-term brain injury that culminated in an overdose of solvents at work on about June 5th of 1998, some 20 years ago or whatever that is. It caused me to have a TBI, traumatic brain injury, mild toxic encephalopathy that I've lived with from that time on, and I still live with today. Now I can tell you that if I don't pay attention to these 5 things, my brain injury and my brain injury symptoms and my benzo withdrawal symptoms are much, much worse. So I'm going to go into a lot of things here today. To keep it shorter, I'm going to reference the 5 items I'm talking about. I'm going to put links in the description. Please go down and click on every one of those links and read them, because it's going to have extensive information on what things to avoid and how to avoid them and what to avoid. That'll save me a lot of time. I'm not going to read off a bunch of stuff because it'll just be counterproductive. Let me go on the first one that a lot of people know, but they don't avoid it, is sugar. Sugar is the enemy in all its forms. I'm talking about even fruit. If you're eating too much fruit, too much sugary fruit, you want to stay away from all processed fruit drinks. Like you go to the store and you buy orange juice or fruit juice or whatever. I don't care how healthy, if it's a naked fruit or whatever, just stay away from it. It's just loaded with sugar. Also, even vegetables can be loaded with a lot of sugar. Your high sugar vegetables would be corn, peas, carrots. Your lower sugar ones, of course, would be like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, all the ones people don't like usually. But as I can tell that from my dad, he's got diabetes and he goes for the high sugar content vegetables just naturally because he likes sugar. But stay away from sugar in all its forms. If you want to have, you see your kids, I used to give my kids over to my parents when they were younger and give them over to Grandpa's house, and he'd feed them Tootsie Rolls. And they come back and be bouncing off the frickin' walls. And sugar is not good for your brain. You're going to have Alzheimer's later in life. You're going to have all kinds of cognitive difficulty. It takes your immune system down. That's probably why I never get sick. I don't consume very much sugar at all. So sugar's number 1. Number 2, a huge one that most people have no idea of, is MSG, monosodium glutamate. What is monosodium glutamate? Well, I learned quite a bit about this when I first got to my neurologist to my solvent injury 20 years ago. I picked his brain on this a lot. He told me that glutamate / glutamine, excuse me, are excitatory neurotransmitters in the brain. See, you've got glutamate in your brain, and it's supposed to be there. It serves a purpose. It's spread out through there, and if you have a toxic assault like I did with the solvent, or if you have a assault with the benzodiazepines, this glutamate and glutamine will pool up where the damage is, and it will eat up the toxins. And then when it's done, it doesn't know when to stop. It eats up the good brain cells. So glutamine / monosodium glutamate is, if you look back in the mid-60s, they had what's called Chinese restaurant syndrome, I believe. And it's where people eat a lot of, you can actually buy MSG. It's a white powder like sugar or salt. And it is one of the worst things you can put in your body, period. It is loaded. The worst food you can pick up in the supermarket would be ramen noodles. They are loaded with MSG. I mean loaded. I mean, you eat ramen noodles all the time, you're going to be a blithering idiot before you're my age. It's seriously. But it's in so many other things that it's hidden. Look down the link in the description. There's a Dr. Dillard in the link. Explains all the different hidden forms. If it says natural flavoring on something, if it says anything to do with protein, autolyzed yeast extract, hydrolyzed yeast extract, so many hidden things it's in. So you need to avoid processed foods. For instance, if you pick up a bag of potato chips in your store, pick one up, read the back of it on plain potato chips. It will say something like potatoes water, oil, and salt. Pick up another bag next to it, I don't care what flavor, sour cream, and onion, garlic, chive, whatever, and read the back, and there'll be a list of ingredients that big on the back that you can't pronounce. A lot of chemicals in there to make the flavors. A lot of times it's not even the flavor it says. It has no sour cream in it. It's all chemicals making up the sour cream. They will jack your brain like you would not believe. So avoid MSG. Go down and watch the video, Dr. Dulard. You'll be glad you did. Moving on to the third one, caffeine. Caffeine makes me so much worse, I cannot even tell you. And nobody loves coffee better than I used to. I mean, I love a cup of dark, black, strong coffee. I drink my coffee black, and I just love it. And I used to drink a lot of it until my brain injury. When I got my brain injury, I cannot deal with any coffee. Decaf has caffeine in it, so, to a certain level. Any caffeine whatsoever. And there's so many hidden forms of caffeine. Again, go in the link in the description. I believe I put a link in there. I can't remember who that one is, but it explains the hidden sources of caffeine. A lot of it, some people know, chocolate, decaf coffee. There's a lot of hidden sources of caffeine. So no matter how much you love coffee, no matter how, I know you're tired, you know, when you're on benzo withdrawal, you feel you've got no energy, and you got to have your coffee to jack your energy up. Just don't do it. It's gonna mess your brain up. It's gonna give you more brain fog. It's gonna give you just a scatterbrain effect. Just avoid caffeine in all its forms, like the plague. And Google hidden sources of caffeine. You'll see if I don't put the link in the description of what I'm trying to allude to there. Another huge one, number 4, and that would be artificial sweeteners. Aspartame, there'll be a link in the description for that. There's a long movie called Sweet Misery, I believe. And aspartame in all its forms, and all other sweeteners for the most part, sucralose, aspartame, artificial sweeteners. They're made with things that excitatory neurotoxins that just eat your brain cells up and make you nervous as hell. So stay away from all Coke Zero, anything that says diet on it. I don't care if it's pancake mix, diet, anything. It's loaded with aspartame or sucralose or saccharin or something of that nature. So stay away from aspartame. Avoid it at all costs. It will eat your brain cells up. It will make you into, again, a blithering idiot. Number 5, a lot of people don't know this one, food coloring. It is super toxic. I'll put a link in the description to that. I think Dr. Mercola does a good one on that. It tells all the different cancers, especially, and also brain tumor gliomas that food colorings cause. You got your worst one, like red Lake 40 or something like that. I think it's the worst one. Then you got yellow number 10, and you got blue this, and when you get into your organic foods, a lot of times it'll be colored things, but if you're going to feed your kids something, get them organic cereal. Make sure that it's not a bunch of colored crap. Worst cereal you can put in your mouth probably be like Fruit Loops. Tons of different food coloring in there. You feed a kid some food coloring, they're bouncing off the walls. Next thing you know, you'll be in there, and the doctor will be giving them, your quack doctor will be giving them some ADHD medicine because they have ADHD, when really they're just tons of excitatory neurotoxins in from the food coloring that you're letting them ingest. So many things that kids, popsicles, anything that's bright red, bright purple, bright orange, bright yellow, unnatural colors. If you get those things organic, they can make those colors out of natural things. They can make them out of red out of beet juice. They can make the orange out of carrots, and they do. You can get gummy bears that are organic and way, way, way better. I mean, they're made out of fruit things. They've still got some sugar in them, but I mean, way better than pumping your kids or yourself full of anything that's colored. How do you get rid of those 5 things? It's sugar, MSG, caffeine, artificial sweeteners, and food coloring. You get those 5 things out of your diet, and people say, "Oh, I eat pretty clean." Well, if you're eating a normal standard American diet, spelled SAD, you're consuming lots of these things. If you pick up I'm a label reader. The most important thing that I take to the store with me is my pair of nose reading glasses, because I put these things on and I'll pick up something. You can do it with you're better off not to eat anything out of a can, a box, anything like that that's processed. Go for fresh when you can. It's kind of hard to do that here in the middle of winter in the Midwest. Don't have that great of fresh produce here in Missouri in the dead of winter. But secondary, go to organic frozen. You can go to Costco. Costco's got really good prices on organic stuff. You can buy all organic there in bulk, and you won't pay any more than you would, maybe sometimes even less than your regular store crap processed foods that are GMO, genetically modified, and not organic. Eating clean is a matter of not going down the middle aisles of the store and buying your like Stouffer's box foods and all this crap they try to sell you in a box. You know, that you flip it over and read the label. Yeah, the label's this long, sometimes this long on them, 5-6 inches long worth of stuff you can't pronounce on there. If it does, just put it down. Don't buy it. You can even find a few things. Not that canned foods are that great for you because they're usually loaded with salt, but some canned foods, if you pick some of them up, it'll just say like beans, water, and salt. But you pick another one up that's got some flavoring, smoke flavoring and things in it. Smoke flavoring's got MSG in it. Natural flavoring in the back. It says natural flavors, that's MSG. Things like potato chips, Pringles potato chips, or any potato chips rather, are very toxic. They cause cancer. They have something called acrylamines in it. They're very toxic and bad for your brain. Most all this stuff has MSG in it. So how you get away from that? You eat clean. And when I say clean, when you want a meal, like in the freezer in here, we've got chicken, grass-fed, free-range chicken, organic from Costco. You can steam it, you can bake it, you can broil it, whatever you want there. Watch also your condiments, your spices you put on things. Most of them are loaded with MSG, unless they specifically say no MSG on them, which very few do. I believe you can get a barbecue sauce that's made here locally and around Iowa. It's called Cookies, and I believe a lot of it says no MSG on some of their spices and sauces. I use one for my stuff. I like spicy stuff, and I use one called Slap Ya Mama. It says no MSG right on the label. It's basically hot pepper flakes, cayenne pepper flakes, salt, pepper, and a little garlic. But most all of your other blends of spices are loaded with MSG. If they say natural flavoring on them, if they say smoke flavor on it in the back, put them back down and don't get one. They try to trick you with no MSG added. Well, that means they didn't put the actual white powder MSG in there, but it could have other forms: autolyzed yeast extract, hydrolyzed yeast extract, protein, anything that says protein in it. So you've got to learn to be a very careful label reader. For our meat, we get grass-fed, grass-finished beef, free-range organic eggs. So about everything. You can get mixed vegetables, all sorts of mixed vegetables and fruit, organic in bulk at Costco in big bags for like $6 a bag for this giant bag of organic mixed vegetables with corn and peas and beans and everything in it. So you're not getting all these toxins in your body, these neurotoxins that I spoke of. But these things, let me go back to MSG. This is a huge one. My neurologist explained to me that MSG is an excitatory toxin, as is glutamate. So your excitatory neurotoxin, your benzos that we've been on, a lot of us, have to do with dulling your GABA, with bringing your GABA up. So your GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. So you want your brain to be like right here. You got your inhibitory and your excitatory, and your brain balances out to about right in here. Problem is, when you have a benzodiazepine injury, your excitatory, your glutamine goes up from the glutamine that I talked about in your brain, rising up to take care of the toxins in your brain. It goes up, and then you take the benzos, and the GABA comes up and evens things out. But when you get off the benzos, down goes the GABA, way up goes the excitatory neurotransmitters, the glutamate/glutamate/ monosodium glutamate goes way up. So that's the absolute insane racy feeling that you're feeling all the time in your chest. It's just racing, and your brain's going a million different ways at once, and you can't focus on anything. I call it severe brain fog. So those things are the things that's causing you this severe brain where you can't lock on anything. I mean, you can't even lock onto what I'm saying here, so that's why I'm saying go down to the link and read some of the, go into some of the videos that I provided down there, and there's a whole list of, there's a list under aspartame. Aspartame is death to the brain. Go down there and there's a list that I provided that shows our FDA, our Food and Drug Administration's own 92 symptoms of aspartame poisoning. I kid you not. And people would say, well, if it's got 92 symptoms of poisoning, what do they okay it for? Well, it's FDA stands for Fraud and Death Administration, as far as I'm concerned. They approve all kinds of things like Vioxx that killed, hundreds of thousands of people, and other drugs. So the Fraud and Death Administration thinks that aspartame has 92 different signs of poisoning. I showed this to my dad like 10, 15 years ago. My dad and my brother-in-law at the time drank a lot of Diet Coke, sitting out in the sun in the boat and drinking Diet Coke, and he's having all kinds of pains. Aspartame causes pain, all kinds of nerve problems. It's just death to the brain. And finally, I talked my dad into looking at that 92 signs of aspartame poisoning, and he had about all but 6 of them. And he quit the aspartame in about a month. He only had 2 or 3 of them left. So he hasn't done the aspartame since then, and he's a firm believer in it now too. So those things are some things that's going to make a huge difference. I know from my brain injury, from going through my brain injury and what I suffer from for that if I ingest any of those 5 things, I have severe problems with my brain, and you will too. So I hope these things help you today. Go in the link in the description. Take the time to read all the things that I didn't go over, because there's so many things in there. I would have been on here forever listing them all. I'm already too long on the video. So you guys do that. Let me know if you don't feel a lot better. Take care and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.